So here I am at Smale Park on the waterfront in Cincinnati with my sculpture buddies and getting ready to do the Ohio to Erie Trail. So let's turn the camera around and look at some of the scenery here. So looking north now, we'll focus on my sculpture buddies. You can see Cincinnati, and now heading towards the park. It's a beautiful park. Lots of flowers. Now the Ohio River coming into view. This is the Roebling Suspension Bridge, built over 150 years ago and an iconic landmark in Cincinnati. I'm now panning over the Ohio River, showing now the path that I'll be taking towards Cleveland. Now passing the Great American Ballpark, home of the Cincinnati Reds. Here's the American Queen paddle wheel sculpture. This is the ceremonial dipping of tires into the Ohio River, signifying the start of this 326-mile long ride. This is a rails to trail ride, and here's the first caboose along the trail, and it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Sunday evening, end of day one. I'm staying in Xenia, Ohio tonight. Did about 69 miles, which is a little bit more than I had planned, but I decided to stay in a motel and get a little extra mileage in. Met some really nice people at the very start of the trail. Took their pictures when we started the trail in Cincinnati, and they graciously took mine as well. And I've kind of leapfrogged with them. So we'll see if we catch up with them again tomorrow. So far, we're off to a really good start. So I took off from Xenia 15 minutes ago or so. There was a storm last night. I was thankful I was staying in a motel. And here's a downed tree that I have to kind of climb over. This is the Hearthstone Inn in Cedarville, Ohio, and it is right on the trail. I reported the downed tree here to the people, who seemed very nice. They have jacuzzis, and I think if I did this trail again, this would be a great place to stop and stay for the night. Didn't expect to see this. 2 cabooses, but no engine. So I'm in London now, and here's a mural by Matco Services on the wall of this old building. Really kind of neat. It goes on for a ways, celebrating local industries, local schools. Madison County Hospital, Madison County Courthouse. I did not take a picture of that when I was on the main street. Oh, Red Brick Tavern, so. Really innovator, electric trolley, Civil War, Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln actually visited London. There's the London Railroad Station, which I did not see. Of course, there's agriculture all around this area. Past so many farms and silos. There's Jonathan Alder in Barshaw. Lived a life between 2 worlds, pioneer and Native American, and married to an Indian. And here's honoring Native Americans, and then the prehistoric times. Very nicely done, Matco Services. Here's another cute mural showing Cincinnati on the left here. People riding a trail to Camp Chase Bike Trail, which is what I'm on now, and then finally to Cleveland there at the end. So here's a view of downtown Columbus from the trail. with the Scioto River now coming into view. Well, end of day 2, and today was a 74-mile day. I'm staying at a motel in North Columbus. And I went up the Olentangy River Trail past Ohio State University today. And there was a detour, but it was very, very well marked. Maneuvering over the down tree wasn't a problem, but I did feel I was lost at Battelle Darby Creek, where I was on what looked like a gravel hiking trail. That was quite steep in places, and it terminated in a park. And then I had to go several miles on a country road back to the trail. So there's times on some of these bikepacking trips where you just kind of have to trust, one, your instincts, and two, the Google Maps, and say, well, let's see if we can get back to the trail. But actually, I was on the trail the whole time, which seems kind of strange. But overall, still everything going very, very well. Well, I guess I could say it's all downhill from here. This is the high point of the Ohio Trail. I haven't faced a hard hill yet. This is the Raston Observation Tower located in Mount Vernon. It has 220 steps to the top and provides a wonderful view of the entire area. It was built, interestingly enough, around a smokestack from a former Pittsburgh plate and glass factory that closed in the 1970s. And if I ever do this trail again, I think I would like to climb to the top. We're in Gambier, which was a railroad town, and really kind of interesting. We happen to have a nickel plate trail. There's a rail trail near our place. I wonder if that's the same as Nickel Plate Road. And I'm looking for more cabooses, and so here's one on the end of this very short train. Gambier, a nice little town. Here's a neat abstract sculpture called Understorms that depicts clouds and rain, and it's in a really nice park in Gambier. Well, you don't see this every day. This is the Stone Arch. I'm in Howard, Ohio now. And this was built in 1874. Really cool. Just rode through the Bridge of Dreams. Nice long bridge. I guess it's the second longest in Ohio and the third longest in the country. Very cool. Well, it's the end of day 3, and after 84 miles, I'm in Millersburg. This morning started in Columbus, and I did have some difficulty finding the way to the trail because of the traffic noise, and I couldn't hear the Google Maps prompts. But that's just something you learn to deal with and say, well, get over it. There are a lot of things to see today. There's the observation tower, the Gambier train, and the sculpture were really cool. The Stone Arch in Howard, and the Bridge of Dreams. A little more about the Bridge of Dreams. It was originally built in the 1920s as a railroad bridge. The railroad was abandoned, and in 1998, just 25 years ago, a group decided they wanted to cover the bridge for a part of the trail. Skeptics of these proponents of covering the bridge said that the proponents were just dreaming. Well, the money was raised, and that's how it became known as the Bridge of Dreams, which is really kind of a cool story. So nothing more to it than that. Well, new road hazard today. They're repaving the trail, and I had to walk on the side. Hope I didn't get too much tar on the wheels or on my shoes going through this, but hey, where they've done work, it looks really nice. Kind of sobering here, looking way down at the field, which must be 30 or 40 feet below where we're standing. It was a railroad for over 110 years until there was a flood. It's hard to imagine water getting this high. But it's part of the Ohio to Erie Trail now. This is day 4, and it's been an interesting morning so far. I stopped at Los Tios for lunch in Dalton. I've gone a little over 30 miles so far today. The trail started out with the resurfacing crew working on the trail, and then shortly after that, I saw some deer. Usually they are on the side of the trail and then they run back, but this one decided to run across the trail, maybe 10 feet in front of me. I was going slow. There was no risk of him running into me or me running into him, but it was like, wow, thank you, Lord. A little later, went on to country roads, and then mostly country roads today, with a lot of hills. The air quality is terrible due to the fires in Canada, so I've been trying to avoid some of the huffing and puffing, and didn't expect the hills to be quite as steep as they were sometimes, but hey, that's part of the game. And looking forward to getting to Akron later this afternoon, and getting a shower, and tomorrow will be the last day. I should arrive in Cleveland sometime by early afternoon. So far, great trip. It's the beginning of day 5, and I'm entering Cuyahoga Valley National Park. But first, a little bit about day 4. It was 76 miles, and I met Scott and Michelle, who are local riders, and rode with them perhaps for 15 miles. They graciously pointed out that there was a campsite at Canal Fulton with shower, and also offered to put me up at their home. I declined because I wanted to get past Akron. I did stay at a free campground last night at the Big Bend Metro Park. After I set up the tent, an officer came on the scene and pointed out that another bikepacker and I actually weren't at the correct campsite. He went out of his way to show us the hilly campsite, where it was just a much better situation. And I'm just reminded of how he went above and beyond the call of duty, and how your success in life is really dependent upon many times the kindness of strangers pointing us in the right direction. So thank you, Scott and Michelle and Officer Budinoff, for your kindnesses and your advice. So this is the Cuyahoga River of the Cuyahoga River National Park. And back in the late 1960s, early 1970s, this is the river that caught fire. Well, the river didn't actually catch fire. What happened was there were a number of industrial concerns dumping all of their waste products, and that's what caught fire, and of course that helped propel the environmental movement that is still alive today. So this is Boston, actually the Boston store, which was important at one point in time as a bag industry town. Kind of interesting. But I'm not stopping for bags. I'm stopping for something a little bit different. And hopefully they're open and I can get some. Well, that was a bummer. The store's not open yet. But they do have some nice rocking chairs, so I'm gonna sit down and relax, get the jacket off, get something to drink, and continue. Well, 12 miles to go. No one has yelled at me yet, get a horse. But then again, that's actually a mule there, so looking to finish this up in the next hour or so. Just over one of the steepest climbs on the ride, and you can see the air quality still isn't good, but from what I understand, it's a little bit better than what it was yesterday. Looking forward to finishing this ride. Have we said that before? Waiting at a drawbridge for the American Courage boat to get through. Wonder what it's hauling. It is a long boat.
No, I think it's right before the top of the hill. Make sure you go down Franklin.
And I'll pan over to the back of the boat. I wonder if it can move any slower. As you might have guessed, this is the end of the trip, and this is, of course, the ceremonial dipping of tires into Lake Erie. So happy to be in Edgewater Park in Cleveland, just having finished the Ohio to Erie Trail, which is 326 miles, comprised of 27 local trails, put together on asphalt, gravel, planks, and connected sometimes on country roads. I was fortunate enough to meet up with the family that I started with and spent a little time with them the last 10 miles. Overall, a great trip. Would I do it again? Oh, heck yeah.